Split 3 is now out and a lot of things have changed. From little tempo being back into the game to every item getting nerfed. And this also means a new guide for Kaisa. But like before, I'll make sure to update the guide over time if any big changes happens to Kaisa systems. So make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss out. Before we go over builds, let's quickly go over the big changes that affect the champion in Split 3. So the big news is the return of Little Tempo. This version is a bit different since the new Little Tempo doesn't give you any range but now gives you a bunch of attack speed. And when you proc LT after 6 auto attacks, it does bonus damage scaling on attack speed, which is pretty big for Kaisa since her E gives her 80% bonus attack speed, and yes, it does count. But that's kinda the only really good news that comes out of this, because this splits, like I said before, every single item got nerfed. So first off, Kraken Slayer lost 5 AD, and that is really big because this means you cannot get Q evolution anymore with Kraken into pickaxe. This also means that sadly, Kraken Slayer is kinda bad on Kaisa. It's not dead, but since Kaisa relies so heavily on evolutions to function, not being able to get Q evolution at level 9 is a massive nerf. Lastly, for AP Kaisa, Ludens now give you 100 AP when you buy it, which sounds OP, but in reality it's not that big. It's mostly a big quality of life change for AP Kaisa, since now we can just rush the item and no need to buy Tome after to get W evolution. Alright, with the big changes out of the way, let's now cover the builds for ADC Kaisa first. For the ADC runes, you have two options. You can go for Little Tempo or PTA. Both on paper have pretty much the same amount of DPS, but the biggest issue for Little Tempo is that you need 6 auto attacks to proc it, which takes time, especially in lane. But it does make a big difference in damage in the mid to late game. Meanwhile, Pressy Attack has more burst, it's easier to proc, especially in the early game, but it doesn't have the scaling that LT has in the mid game. So between both of them, it really depends on what you need for your game. If you're facing a bunch of squishies like Fizz, Echo, Lulu, Caitlyn for example, going ulti doesn't make much sense since fights won't last long enough for you to even proc Little Tempo. So into squishies, going PTA makes more sense because it gives you more burst and is easier to proc. Meanwhile, if you face a tankier team like a lot of bruisers or tanks like Leona, Sejuani or Darius for example, in this situation, going ulti makes more sense since fights will last longer and you will need that extra scaling that PTA doesn't give you to deal with tankier targets. So with that said, the best rune page for Kaisa in Split 3 is PTA into squishies or ulti into tanks, with Prince of Mind into Bloodline into Coup de Grâce versus squishies or Cut Down versus tanks, with boots and cookies. Since yes, cookies got buffed and now give you bonus HP, which is way better than what Tripotonic gave you. Now you might be wondering, wait, where is Hill Blades? Now I'll go deeper into why in another video, but TLDR, this rune is just bad on any ranged character after the nerf. Not to mention that the domination tree simply doesn't compare to the value that you get from precision and inspiration. So if you're used to play HB on Kaisa, you can still go for it, but for anyone else, it's just way better to go PTA or Little Tempo. Alright, let's now talk about Kaisa builds. Let's start with the most popular playstyle, Hybrid. So, since Kraken Slayer got nerfed, it only really leaves Static as the only option left. Now, it did get nerfed too, but the nerf didn't do much, and we still get Q evolution with it. So Kaisa best hybrid build is still Static into Rageblade, into Nasher, then you can build Deadcap Force into Zhonya's. This build gives you everything you want, is comfortable, cheap, and does some good damage in early mid game. Now, if you face a more tankier team, you can go for Liandry's instead of Deadcap into Voice Staff, or Voice Staff directly if they build too much MR early on. Because yes, Liandry's burn when you face a bunch of high HP target like Sion for example, does so much damage. But actually, Static isn't the only option I have. I didn't want to leave you with only one build because I know a lot of people don't like Static that much. So a second hybrid option, better when you're fed in lane, is to go for Essence Reaver plus Rageblade plus Nasher. I know this sounds weird, or it sounds familiar because yes, in 2019, ER into Nasher was meta on Kaisa. But the main reason why I'm showing this build is because 1, Kraken Slayer is out of the question, and 2, Essence Reaver was one of the items that was the least hit with all these nerfs, making it a really strong first item. The way the build works is pretty simple. You start by building a BF sword into a pickaxe into one long sword for a quick Q evolution that only costs 2,500 gold at level 9. You can also get an extra long sword to get Q evolution earlier. This is also why I say you should be fed when building this, because you need to buy a full BF sword, which is 1,300 gold so not easy to do in lane. Then you finish your Essence Weaver into Rage Blade, then your boots and Nasher. This build has solid damage from lane to mid game, and the only real issue is the delayed evolution, which sucks a little, but the damage makes it way worth it. And outside of the damage, the reason I love Essence Weaver so much is because it allows you to adapt a lot. If, for example, after building Nasher, you want to go for a more poke-heavy playstyle, you can build Horizon Focus Force into Deadcap. And since you already have 30 haste from ER and Nasher, plus the mana regen, you can easily become a monster in poke damage. Or if you just want to build normal hybrid with Deadcap into Zhonya's, then the 30 haste will lower your cooldowns on your abilities, which will help you do more DPS. I really recommend to try this build at least once. Alright, for AD Kaisa, here's nothing much has changed, except for the fact that we don't have Kraken anymore. Which means that the best build for AD on hit is static into Rage Blade into Terminus when you face squishies, since the added armor and MR does make a difference into assassins or mages. Next, if you face a more heavy bruiser team like Camille, Yasuo, Darius, overall champions that like to run at you, you can go for Phantom Dancer or Navi third, which give you way more kiting power into them. By the way, for PD and Navi, there isn't much of a difference, it really depends on your preferences. Do you feel you need more movement speed with Phantom Dancer or lower cooldowns with Navi? And finally, if you face tanks, you should build Borg third into LDR Force. So yeah, pretty simple. The only thing that is a bit sad is that I don't have a crit build for you this split. Since Kraken but also IE got nerfed this patch, with IE losing 10 AD and the cost going up to 3,600 gold, which is by the way the same price as a goddamn Deadcap, building crit Kaisa becomes really difficult. Because you really need IE and Kraken to make this work, and both got hit pretty hard. So yes, it's not worth it to build crit Kaisa, sadly. Okay, now it's time for AP Kaisa. First off, runes. For this, not much has changed. You still want to go for Fleet into Presence of Mind or Life versus Poke matchups, into Haste, into Cutdown, with Tonic and Cosmic Insight for bot lane, or Boot and Cookies for top lane and mid lane. Now for the build, like before, I'll cut this into two parts, one for bot lane and one for mid lane and top lane Kaisa. For bot lane Kaisa, the big news for this split is that Eclipse got nerfed and lost some AD, meaning you cannot get Q-Evolution anymore with Eclipse alone. So here, Essence Weaver will be the replacement. But here's the thing, since we are building Essence Weaver, there is no need to buy Ludens. That would be like throwing gold into the trash can. So here's my solution. You want to start with Russian Essence Weaver, and then you buy an extra longsword to get Q-Evolution, exactly how Eclipse worked before. Then you want to buy a large rod and 2 tomes. This is your W evolution for only 2,000 gold. And of course, you want to max W second. Then you finish your Horizon Focus, and then you get Shadow Flame and your Sorcery Boots. And boom, you have now a super early W evolution, you have enough haste to spam W early on, and you can abuse the recent Shadow Flame buff, making you super strong. You can then sell Longsword at level 12 and your Dorian Blade at level 14. By the way, the levels are the reason why I'm asking you to go Cosmic Insight, because if you don't, you won't have enough slots in your inventory to hold everything I just said. I know this is a bit complicated, but at the end of the guide I'll show some gameplay. For solo lane Kaisa, you can first of all go for Essence Weaver if you want to be aggressive in lane, or you can simply go for the Maimune option, which is still overall Kaisa's most comfortable and most efficient AP Kaisa build. So, Maimune into Ludens, into Horizon Focus for the cheap option, or Shadow Flame when you're fed, or Voice Staff versus tanks. And for all, you go for Sorcery Boots. Now the reason why I don't recommend Maimune for bot lane is simply because in solo lane you can farm and chill while you scale. In bot lane it's not always the case, and most of the time you're gonna fight quite a bit in the laning phase. So it's better to pick ER, which is way stronger in the early game than you risk going with Maimune and having barely any damage in lane. And there we go, this should cover all the builds you need to know when it comes down to Kaisa in split trade. Overall, I don't think she got hit that hard this patch, even though there is a lot of nerfs. So she should feel somewhat strong in this new meta. If you look at the ADC tier list for 14.19, apart from Draven and Nila, which are Kaisa best 2 bans anyway, overall most of her matchups are or in the easy tier or in the middle tier, mainly because most of them got nerfed over time. The only thing that can be somewhat scary is the potential that mages will come back in bot lane like Veigar ADC, since so many ADC early game got nerfed with this. But we'll see what happens. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed this guide, I hope you all reach your desired ranks, and good luck, have fun, and enjoy the gameplay. Mid lane. We got the other still mid lane, which is kind of funny to be fair. When I went for bot lane, we'll go the ER build though. Go for the ER. We'll try the ER build. Let's see how it goes. Someone forgot I can actually see on the shroud. Alright, what a gang. I thought you actually were there. Those minions. There we go. There we go. Rip, rip, rip. I can't really help you. I got a kill. Nice. No way. No way she lives there. If I had the kill, that was worth it. If it got the kill, that's actually worth. I get the push. I get the push and I get the kill. So that was actually 100% worth. Dying there was not worth. My gosh. Oh, Flash, my gosh. At least we push ball lane, at least. We dead? There we go. Top lane is totally out of the game. Alright. Nice. God damn. A bit more, one more wave and I get my W evolution here. And we're online, even though I fucked up my build like multiple times. Huh. Automatic legit used use the ignite instantly. Nice. Longsword sold and we go for rod. There we go. That is our W evolution. In case. Boom. Look at this, 2 seconds. Already got my W evolved with only 2000 gold. That's so cheap. And I have no issues of mana because I have my I have Essence River. I can regen forever. Boom. Greedy. Nah, that was a bit wide. It's a bit too wide. Oh. No escape. Oh, come on. What? I missed. Where are you? Shh. Where are you, Twitch? Oh yeah, it still had the barrier. God damn it. Rip. Rip. Close one. Close one, actually. He still has his ultimate, really? Alright, dead. But nice damage, to be fair. Like, honestly, really nice damage. And it's cheaper than... it's really cheap. Because it only costs 2,000 gold. But it works, honestly. You have what you want. You have 50 haste plus 15 here. That gives you enough. You don't need to get... you don't need to buy boots early. So, you have infinite mana because of Essence River, allowing you to basically skip. You can skip basically the Ludens. You don't need to buy Ludens because that's waste of mana. You don't need to spend money on mana. You can just spend money on AP damage, on full damage. Just get as much damage as possible through Shadow Flame and Horizon Focus. Oh, I'm gonna die. Actually, I can just fight from far away. Nice, there you go. Actually, let me TP. Got it. Ha! You thought. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Huh. Nice. You actually catch them. No, they actually ran away like that. Alright. I thought they went on the bush. Nice. Goodbye. No, you don't escape this. You don't escape this. You don't escape this. No. Oh well. Oh! Nah, too fast. Too many dashes. Nice. Nice. GG's. GG's. Look at this. Although we had like a pretty troll early game because I picked the wrong item, overall, look at this. Like, the damage is there, honestly. Like, 25 haste plus 20, 20 haste next patch, but yeah, 20, 20, 40, you have 55 easily, and then you have Shadow Flame. You don't need to buy Ludens because you already have Essence Fever for the mana regen. So that actually allows you to get more damage in your kit by going Essence Fever. This item is so strong on Kaisa. Like, actually. It's gonna be so nice to play AP Kaisa with Essence Fever. We should have abused it before. Honestly, we should have abused it before. I don't know why we went Eclipse when Essence Fever was there. Oh my gosh.